Our season premiere is designed to introduce our fans, our core audience, to this is the world now. There's a secondary benefit to that, which is if you've never seen the show before, this is a perfect place to jump in because this is the world now. The audience who have seen seasons 1 through 3 are watching the show in relation to what they know. People who've never seen seasons 1 through 3, can access the show now in a very straightforward way, learn about Fringe Division, learn who these characters are, and they will very quickly start to fill in the missing pieces, by design. So it's sort of like, we didn't set out to say, oh, how can we go get a new audience at season 4? We know that that's not, that's not our goal. We write the show for ourselves. We write the story. The story is part of an arc. But it just so happens that this is a place where if you're picking up the book for the first time, this is a good place to start. The cases that we've dealt with the last 3 years of history we're not wiping out the last 3 years of history. In fact, we're just saying this is now those same 3 years have transpired without Peter in them.
Yeah, so you can really get a lot of entertainment from actually saying, wow, Peter did affect people, and that's like, again, that's what our major theme is this year in investigating, is like, how do we impact each other's lives? And life is valued by the connections that we make.
Peter's presence will be felt in his absence, and it will certainly be felt in his direct presence. How we get there should make for hopefully entertaining and emotionally investing television viewing.
Yeah, I mean, nothing on Fringe is face value. So, I mean, we're the only program, I think, that could do a love triangle with 2 of the same people involved. We're the only people who could do a kidnapping story that crosses universes. So we have the opportunity to make Peter's return and Peter's presence in the show something not what you expected, but definitely compelling and definitely satisfying.
I was blown away by the end of season 3. Just seeing Peter disappear, I immediately got on the phone. I was like, what's going to happen? What's happening to everyone? And I think we have a really unique opportunity because obviously Peter's going to come back in some way. And I think the fans and new viewers have a unique opportunity, which is that we have a bit of a reboot here, which is going to be interesting for people to watch that have already watched the show because they'll see everything that has happened already from a new perspective. And for the new viewers, they'll have a chance to kind of get caught up with what actually is happening because in some ways it'll happen over again. I mean, I've already met the Fringe team and now I have to meet them again. So it's kind of like icing on the cake for people who already watched, and then for new people, they can really jump right in. Yeah, it starts out like a typical day for me. I go to see my partner and we've got this great relationship and I love his family and we all embrace each other. And then you see us on a chase and then something terrible happens to him and then Lincoln Lee in this version of the universe is forever altered afterwards and then brought into this world which is just like going down the rabbit hole and then brought into this lab which is Wonderland essentially. It's incredible. I mean, having had the chance to kind of watch the show from the outside as an audience member and then get to all of a sudden be asked to be a part of it, at first for 1 episode, and then that 1 episode turned into several episodes last season, and now as a regular, it's in many ways a dream come true. Don't miss it.
Old fans will love it because they know that we will return to form, and it's just another deviation that we've taken as we deviated into the alternate universe. So they'll be very interested to see and the subtle differences in relationships and performances. They always enjoy that, and they'll be waiting for Peter to come back, and then they'll be hoping that Peter will want to get to be friends, and maybe that Olivia and Peter fall in love again. Of course, there's no baby anymore because there's no Peter, so maybe good things will happen. I don't know. We brought in a new regular character played by Seth Gable. Lincoln was introduced last year, and so we're able to tell the story again by telling Seth. So a lot of the mythology in the background, because Lincoln doesn't know it, we have to tell him, and so by telling him, we tell a new audience as well. It's a world without a manifestation of Peter. So what's happened, for example, with Walter, yes, he's a couple of years down the track, but he's not had any Peter to make him saner, to make him happier. So he's just become this rather compulsive, obsessive person that works in the lab and has strange behaviours. and he doesn't go out. He sleeps here. So it's quite a different feeling from what we've found the journey from the pilot through, and that's where we'll start this. So Walter is loveless. He has these two strange protectors, Olivia and Astrid, strange people that would defend him, but that's it. Olivia has some power over Walter. It's a very potent thing. She has the ability to calm him. Now, whether that's a result of the contextophane, we don't know yet. That's to be worked out. But there's something that she can walk up and calm him when he's out of control. It's a really interesting thing to observe. And we've done it for the first time in this episode, just that ability to walk in and just calm him down, like a horse whisperer. It was very interesting. The first day back was a bit strange. I mean, we were straight back into action again, but it all felt a bit... The lovely part was coming back to see all of the people, because we've become like a big family. And it was truly wonderful. People giving each other hugs and blushing and crying. But then it was businesses. But now we're in day 3. It just feels like we haven't left. Don't miss it.
We have this huge mass of followers that have been watching the show from day one and who watch repeat episodes because they love the show that much, and talking about how a big part of being on a television show is trying to get new viewers no matter where you are, you know, in terms of your seasons. And I think that this first episode of season 4, it feels almost like a pilot in a way, because you're being reintroduced to these characters because they live in a reality that has never been seen in the show before. So it's almost like starting from scratch. Like you're being introduced to who Olivia is and to Astrid. And Lincoln has never really been seen in this reality, only once, but then not the Peterless reality. So he's being integrated again. So it's almost like this is the perfect episode for somebody who's never seen this show to watch and understand what's happening. They immediately understand the relationships, and then the whole Peter thing, like you would need to probably go back to really get the story of who Peter is, but that is addressed a little bit too, because you know, there's somebody who wasn't here who used to be here, and Walter's missing him, and there are little comments in the script that allude to that. So I would say that this is probably the best episode that we've ever had to allow new fans to start watching the show. I don't know where Peter is. For someone to not exist, does that mean that without memory of them that they... you know, they're completely erased, or is he in like tiny particles because he used to exist and time has been, you know, rewound, and so maybe he exists as energy somewhere and people just don't have him in their minds? I don't know what the answer is as to where Peter is, but you start getting bits and pieces of the answer in the first episode through Walter, and I won't give too much away, but Peter is not all the way gone, even though it seems like he is. One little snippet of information that might entice viewers who are really curious to know where Peter is and if he's coming back is to think of the Michael Jackson song Man in the Mirror. And that's like a tiny, tiny little hint to let you know that Peter's gone, but he's not all the way gone. Listen to that song, and it might symbolize something important in this first episode for people who are really, really missing Peter. We're in an environment that the audience has never seen before because, of course, Peter's not here. Peter doesn't exist. We've never known a Peter. Or the only person that's known a Peter would be Walter, probably. And so this is like what the world would be like if there was no Peter. There are still 2 worlds, and if you remember the finale of season 3, where the big machine is, that's kind of the space where the 2 worlds are able to be in the same space together without disrupting anything. And so you find out that this world, our world, is working with the alternate universe through that through that room where the machine is that's bringing them together to try and figure out how they can repair their universe. So they're having to like review each other's case files from Fringe Division to see how they might interfere with each other or something. It's really, really bizarre. And so now to be back for season 4, I worked the very first day that we started shooting, and Anna and I looked at each other and we were like, it's like it was just yesterday. Like there was no transitional period that we needed. It's like flexing a muscle. It was so easy to slide right back into it. It was like butter. That part was really cool. I wasn't expecting that. And I don't think that it's happened in previous seasons, because our second season we came to Vancouver from New York, so that was a big transition. And then the next season we were still kind of finding our footing. But this year, it's like no time passed at all between the hiatus. Like we just started work the very next day, which is really, really cool. I think we've gotten good at this. Don't miss it.
There's a sense of family that I feel that Broyles developed with his relationship with all of them, Astrid, Olivia, Peter, and Walter. And Peter, it's not until Peter's missing that I realized that he was the linchpin, because of his humanization of Walter and his really softening of Olivia. It just brought everything together. So now for Broyles, at least, it's much more of a team as opposed to a family in terms of his emotional connection. In a sense, Lincoln acts as I don't want to say an observer because, but acts almost as the eyes of the audience, in that he's coming in with fresh eyes, kind of discovering what this whole Fringe Division is and what the whole two universes is.
It's the first episode back, and so they sort of tend to do this at the beginning of every season, which I think is great. Is we sort of get to like review the world through a new person's eyes, and so. In this case, Lincoln Lee on this side is back, and we kind of get to see him discover what Fringe Division is all about. Well, we did meet him in this universe last season, and but of course, because he was around when Peter was around, we don't remember meeting him because we're in a world without Peter, so we're sort of meeting him again. But yeah, he's different. I like Lincoln over here too. I think it's fun. At the end of the season, we realized that the device, in fact, was enabled a bridge to form between the two universes, and in that place you can kind of cross between. And that's really all that we know at the moment. It's tough to kind of be doing things that we've been doing for so long, and essentially playing the same people, but without the history. And so we're just sort of slowly nutting out, okay, so what would have happened and what didn't happen, and what are the effects and what do we know? So that's I think that's going to be like an ongoing process.